All right, what's good, everybody? Episode 26, Relatively Speaking Pod, back in your life.
Yo.
Good to be back.
Dude, we're crushing it, man. We're in it. 26 episodes.
Half a year's worth of episodes. Pretty sick.
Yeah. We've effectively run a marathon as a podcast.
Nice.
Almost.
Wasn't sure that we would get to this point, but we did it.
We did.
And that's pretty epic. There was a part of me that thought maybe you'd want to stop after 10 episodes or something. But
nice.
No, like
Nice
for
one.
real, you decided, like it was, I would say it was more you that really pushed it to get us going. Because I was kind of just like, well, I'll do it, whatever. And then you were like, no, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know necessarily what that meant. That
Sure.
could have meant
That's
like,
true.
We'll do
I have-
10 episodes and we didn't get any traction, so it's cool, we're done. Now, we're stuck with it.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I feel like we got to give it at least a year, get to 52 and reevaluate kind of if we add episodes, if we shorten them, lengthen them, more a week, something like that.
I do think because I have been thinking about just the trajectory or the direction we're going. And I feel like when my favorite episodes, when I'm editing, because I don't ever go back and watch them.
Yeah.
But when I'm editing them, the ones that I feel like flow the best are like last week. So if you haven't watched 25, where am I looking? Right there. Watch it. It was a good one. 24 was a good one too.
Yeah.
But it's just a conversation that's loosely oriented around something.
Yeah.
But what I have been thinking is what continuing to do this looks like past, because in my mind that was what I was thinking too after 52. Evaluate and say, all right, what are we doing? Because
it is a time commitment. But at this point, I mean, it's obviously a bigger deal for you on that front, but I'm definitely having fun with it.
Yeah.
I think I like you said, last week we flowed well, and it takes a long time. Like we've obviously joked about how shitty the first few episodes were.
They're so bad.
But people don't understand unless you do it. Like there's not a ton of editing. It's not like we're retaking stuff or doing things like that. The editing is
I'll cut the
mainly-
stuff out that'll get us canceled.
or us,
ostracized.
saying and things like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, we just sit down and we just talk. There's a loose plan or an idea of what we're going to talk about. Like today, we're going to discuss the BPN Last Man Standing because it was absolutely epic.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's kind of just like, and that's what's funny too when people ask like what the podcast is. I mean, what is any podcast?
Right.
Like. What's the Joe Rogan experience? It's like, obviously we're not him by any means. And he has guests, of course, but it's just a conversation where, brothers, best friends, just chatting, talking about everything that happens in our lives. And I think we're pretty relatable people.
Yeah.
So when we get, friends texting and checking in, or I heard about this, or freaking, how's your butthole doing? Like, it's stuff that like people go through and
totally
deal with being dads and whatever. And
what's been interesting is I initially was like, we're just going to record a conversation we would have anyway.
Yeah.
But how long it took us to get to a point where I felt like we were actually capturing that was, I don't think we really found that until like the last few episodes.
Oh yeah. Dude.
There's bits and pieces of it in episodes, but the last two I felt like were the most, because it's like, oh, I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at you.
Dude, well,
it's
think
just
of that.
Awkward.
Just anybody, just go have a conversation on a weekly basis with somebody for an hour and have no breaks and not stop to be eating your food and, have it actually be streamed. Everything that you're saying can be put out there to the world. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Speaking
not
of
being drunk.
Speaking of stream, we definitely need to do a live fight companion episode.
That would be epic, right?
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would set it up. We probably have to like put a table in here or something, but that'd be sick.
That would be cool.
Because you can go, might need to take it down after, but
yeah, it'd be fun for sure to do that. But
anyway,
as we get into, before we get into this week's episode, special shout out to Melly P, Gaga,
Birthday.
my mom and your mother in love.
Yep.
It was her birthday on Monday, on Memorial Day. It fell this year. So shout out, Mom. We love you.
Love you. Love you.
That was a great birthday weekend for her. I
Yeah.
hope it was as enjoyable for her as it was for us. They came up and they're here for a little while because it's about to be our niece Paulina, her birthday this week. So Mom came up. We did a Sunday night dinner, and then we did a Monday, her actual birthday. We did a brunch following the Murph that we did this year.
That was effing hard.
Yeah. So this was our first. So the Murph, real quick, because I don't want to just keep explaining these workout freaking gnarly challenges, but the Murph's a mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and another mile. People do it all different ways. You can break it up or however you'd like to do it. And it's something Jeremy and I have done a ton of times. But this was the first year that we ever did it weighted and unpartitioned, which means we wore a 20-pound vest for the whole thing, and we didn't move on to the next exercise until we finished the first. So we did 100 straight pull-ups and 200 straight push-ups.
Strict pull-ups, mind you, not these unicorn kipping pull-ups.
Yes, that was a little bit of an area of controversy. Jeremy and I are not proficient in the kipping pull-up yet, and that's what everybody does. And you're, according to Marin, you're allowed to do that.
Which is great, and I think everything has its place in the world, but I don't think Michael Murphy was doing kipping pull-ups.
Well, so correct me, you CrossFitters, if I'm wrong, but that was my one contention with it, and Marin did make a valid point. I said, so these workouts, and obviously he's, in charge, so I just do what I'm told, but I don't know how to do kipping pull-ups, so I just did strict, which obviously takes a lot longer. But my point was, when they break down these workouts, they usually say whether it's a strict pull-up, or if they don't, then you're allowed to do kipping. I think Mike Murphy died in 2005, and CrossFit was a thing, but it wasn't like a big popular thing. So my thought process was he was probably doing strict pull-ups.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't doing kipping pull-ups, so we should do what he was doing. Marin argued that he definitely was doing kipping pull-ups, and that every veteran guy that he comes into the gym knows how to do kipping pull-ups, and that's a thing that they're taught, and it stems from gymnastics. So it was, I thought kipping pull-ups came from CrossFit. He said it's a gymnastics movement, so they've been around for forever. And especially if he's wearing a vest, he was definitely doing kipping. So there's that. But anyways, we did not do that.
It was hard.
And we were toasted. It was definitely the sorest I've been from the Murph. Not to sound like a douche, but I typically don't think it's that hard of a workout.
It's not that hard.
But
when you do
when
it,
you
if
do
you
it
partition
that way,
it like we normally partition it and do 5, 10, 15, it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's a great workout.
For sure.
But it's not hard. This took considerably longer.
Yeah.
I think it took me over an hour.
Yeah.
And I usually can do it in 40 minutes.
40 something. Yeah. For sure. So that was sick. It was
fun. It was cool.
actually
All the people
do it
there,
that
and
way.
it was a good vibe. Everybody there doing it, and
Marin's wife Sarah was a beast on the kipping pull-ups. I thought she was using a
band
to do them, and then I realized she wasn't. She was flying up there, so that was epic. As my kids are getting bigger, I like them to be able to see me doing certain things like that, and be, even if it's subconscious, see their dad working hard.
Well, you just watch Charlie. He's getting down on the ground trying to do pull-ups and
push-ups.
I'm sorry.
Push-ups and
push-ups
and
squats doing squats. But I 100% think that is that will be maybe not subconsciously.
They
won't know it, but they'll remember it.
Yeah. So Sundays keeps asking if I can take her back to the gym, because she met these 2 little girls there, and they were super sweet to her. So that was cool. And I got her up from her nap that day after the workout, and she gives me a hug and says, "I'm proud of you for your workout, Daddy." And I'm just like, okay, well,
Nice.
so that was sick. Marin finished first from the whole gym, standard.
Yeah.
Freaking gorilla. So that was cool though. So we did that.
I'm exercising a lot of self-control right now, just so we all know.
We did that, but while doing that, we were locked in on, you were pretty locked in on this last man standing race, tracking it.
You said it already, but something and I haven't heard you say this about anything in a long time, that you haven't been as inspired or motivated, or I think you said bricked up at one point, but just juiced about something. And I definitely feel the same way.
Bro, it's unbelievable. So I think we've mentioned it in one of the episodes because I don't know why it got brought up, but we found out about this race called the Last Man Standing, and at first I didn't know much. I had never heard of it. I came across it on YouTube, I think, because Nick Bare had done one, but I wasn't sure. I thought it was it was one thing. Like there was one. I didn't realize it's like a marathon. Like different people put them on and stuff. So there's ones all over the world, country. I don't know. But
That's
anyways,
just like what it's called.
Yeah, it's just called the Last Man Standing. So this was BPN, the brand that we're always wearing, the Go One More stuff. It was their first Last Man Standing event at their new ranch in Central Texas that they, have cleared a path for. And
this is where he's going to live, I think.
I don't know if he's going to live there or if he's just going to kind of use it as like a
I thought I saw, to go off topic
they're
for a second.
making like a house and everything.
Okay,
there,
that's
sure.
what I saw a clip of that.
Yeah, they're making a house there, but I don't know if it's going to be like his full-time place. But he, cleared out a path for the event. Is a 4.2 mile loop that you run every hour on the hour until there's only one guy left. So however fast you get back is how long you have to rest before you go again. If you're not in the corral at the time of the next hour when the race starts again, you're DQ'd. And there was 120 people that started, and essentially what it is, as you get out, you're a did not finish. You didn't finish the race.
No.
So it doesn't matter if you ran 150 miles, you did not finish the race. Right. So that's pretty mental to think about.
If you happened to run in this BPN Last Man Standing and you somehow see this,
nice,
and you would love to be interviewed by us, I would love to talk to you, just to pick your brain. I saw two different things, to cut you off briefly.
Go.
Was one person said that there was a couple people that like DNF'd like after 13 or 14 miles.
Yeah.
And I had saw something that said the reason people think a Last Man Standing is going to be easier than like an actual ultra marathon is because it's a smaller loop, right? It's like you can have that time of rest. But people were talking about if you're going to do a Last Man Standing, you should probably do an actual ultra marathon first to get used to that mental, because there's because I was thinking if we sent it and tried to do it next year, how would you even the preparation for that would be, I don't even know. But so somebody was like, if you're going to do something like a Last Man Standing, you probably should do an ultra marathon first.
Yeah.
Because the people that signed up and they're like, oh, I could do this, they tapped out after.
What is so wild about it too is in these ultras, like we've talked about Cocodona and Moab and those ones, like those ones, 240, 250 plus mile races.
Yeah.
But you can like sleep in those. Now, most of them, if you're going to win, you're probably not going to sleep long.
No. You can there's a time cap.
You can't sleep in a Last Man Standing.
Yeah, that's
like you're staying up for this. So you're running through the night. It started at noon, which is also super gnarly that they started in the middle of the day. They do that on purpose. So you're going like through the heat and then in through the night.
To make it more miserable?
Yeah. So
Wow.
they started at noon. It was 98 degrees. Then you're going, and it's like not shaded.
Yeah.
You're
So I
going-
feel bad for thinking the people that tapped after 4 laps were not endurance
Well,
people,
to me,
because
it's like,
that's
dude,
that's
how-
hot.
For sure, it's
I
hot,
know,
but
but-
how are you going to sign up for that thing and
And
not
do
do an ultra?
I'm
You have to
assuming
do
you'd know
30 plus.
what time.
Yeah, they know what
You're
time
gonna
it started
start.
and everything. So it's
Yeah.
98 degrees, and they go, and so it lasted so long, and the weather was changing. At one point, it was then pouring rain. And so long story short, well, I don't even want to make it short because this was seriously the most epic thing I've ever seen. So we've talked about Truett Haynes on here. This dude is an absolute beast. Now, granted, he's not an ultra runner. He's a marathoner, and he's fast as shit. But he's trying to get into that space. His dad obviously is a freak in that way, and he's about to do the Leadville 100, which is like known as one of the hardest.
True it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like insane elevation gain to do it. So he went into this, and he came in 6th and did 113 point something miles, like 27 or 28 hours straight of running, something like that. So that's wild.
Yeah.
113 miles, that's wild. The last 2 dudes, the 3rd place guy dropped out after like 130 something miles.
Oh, so a lot of people fell off. Like
Right.
once it got
yeah.
to like the top 10, they all
Yeah.
started to fall pretty quickly.
The 3rd place guy fell out after like 130 something miles. There was 2 dudes remaining, Kim and Kendall, 2 Kardashians left. 2 guys named Kim is from Germany. Kendall is from Costa Rica. These dudes are both 21 years old. They were in it after 130 something miles by themselves. And they went another 24 hours plus by themselves to get to 56 laps, 235.6 miles.
Right. Both fully intending on continuing.
Literally took an act of God for them to stop the race because, as I was saying, it started pouring, but then there was like, if you see the videos, it was like an insane storm came through with gnarly wind and rain, and like all the tents were blown away. They couldn't get the cars out of there, and so they had to use like the razors to get out of there. And they ended up having to call the race with these 2 left. So it at first we were going back and forth on it. The second they had to like stop the race or postpone it at all, I feel like it was over.
Yeah.
They couldn't like come back in a couple hours and continue to go. And the fact that the name of the race is the last man standing, and then there happened to be 2 people that won, is kind of gnarly. But if you were following along and locked in on this, what these 2 guys was some of the most inspirational thing I've ever seen. Like at 130 miles, I mean, these runners are insane.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are all great runners.
Did you
And
see what, like, were they showing
figured-
like what they were eating when they would come in? Like, I mean, you have to eat something.
Yeah, they were eating, and
but like
I mean,
bars and stuff, or actual
no,
food?
actual food. I saw them like eating like pasta and stuff like that. But dude, at the end, for the last like little while, the last like several laps, they were getting in at like 57 or 58 minutes.
Shut up.
Yes. They would literally sit down on a chair and be like asleep. There was one video where he like asked his like coach or something. He's like, Chad, you ever wonder what death feels like? And I was just like, let's fucking go. And he gets up and goes again, dude. It was so gnarly. They're like sitting in a chair. They're getting their socks changed, getting the tape around their toes changed real quick, getting fluids, eating something real quick. And they had to just get up and go again because they had no time.
Do you know when they called it, were they in the middle of a lap?
I actually don't know.
I'd be interested to know.
Well,
we should look that up.
They said, so I think they said they did 200. Yeah, I think they actually were. Because
Yeah.
I think they finished 256, and I think they were running on their 57th, and it stopped.
Dang.
So they didn't like count that as a finish.
Can
lap.
you think about how confused you would be? Because mentally, You are so checked out.
Well, Marin said the one dude started running the wrong direction at one point. One of them started going the wrong way. Like he was so out of it.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, Kim, the German guy, he sat down in the middle of it and he fell asleep for 20 minutes in the middle of the race. And he
In the middle
woke
of a
up.
lap?
Yes, in the middle of a lap. He woke up and was like, "Oh my God." And so he had to
Oh,
run
dang,
like
that's
hard
true. That
in
wouldn't
order
be,
to
you wouldn't
finish.
get disqualified as long as you finished a lap in the hour. So
Yeah.
he just had to book it.
Yeah, he had to book it.
Damn. But what I was saying is that in the lap that they had to get extracted or whatever, like
Yeah.
how confused you are.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm just running. That's all I'm
Yeah.
doing. And
Yeah.
why are you in, what is this little cart that you're taking? I would be so disoriented,
Bro.
but also relieved.
56 hours of no sleep.
Yeah.
And
Think about having a
continuous
newborn and
running.
how long you could last without sleeping.
Oh, that's literally like that's the hardest part. That's what I think is the gnarliest.
The
is
sleep part.
The not that you want to torture somebody, you take away their ability to sleep.
Yeah.
You go insane. Your body clearly obviously can't recover. Like, bro, the
Do you
first
think that-
marathons that we ran, those almost broke us.
Do you think
To
that
think that these guys were able to just continue to go was so gnarly, dude. They ran through the night themselves. Just the two of them left. When the third place person dropped out, we were all thinking, okay, at any moment, one of these guys isn't going to finish. One of these guys isn't going to be able to go. The race is going to be over in another lap or two.
Yeah.
And they went 24 more hours.
Do you think that doing things like that is causing like permanent damage?
Dude, I don't know. They actually both looked like fine.
No,
I
but
saw a video of Kim like the next day and he was like okay, like walking around, like
Yeah.
taking a video at the ranch, like
right.
he was doing some pull-ups and stuff. Yeah.
I just wonder when you do, like we talked about what Cam Hanes looked like after
Yeah.
Cocodona, but I just wonder after 250 miles, like the body.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, we have an insane ability to adapt and endure and like push. Like
Yeah.
our body is capable of way more than our brain lets us. You
Yeah.
know, they talk about that connection of mentally, if you can tap into that, your body is capable of so much more than you actually do. But I just wonder at what point are you actually doing permanent damage to your nervous system by like not sleeping for 3 days and just running?
Yeah.
Or not 3 days, but
Yeah.
Well,
almost.
almost
Dude,
3
like,
days and minimal calorie. You're not eating enough to combat how much you're burning.
Yeah, no.
You're running a 4.2 mile loop. You're burning 700, 800 calories in that loop.
Yeah.
And definitely not consuming that in the 10-minute window that you have to eat.
Yeah. No, these guys,
That's-
bro, well, I actually happened to just see an interview with I think it was an old video, but with Goggins and like how he gets like so much shit about how gnarly he is.
Yeah.
And, like people are like, you have permanent damage to your knees from running and all this stuff. And
Right.
he was actually saying like his knees were like that well before he started to run. He said his knees were shot before he started running. It had nothing to do with
I'm not
that.
even talking
But-
about joints. I'm talking about your actual nervous
Yeah.
system. Like your I'm not a doctor, but the
I feel like just as you're saying though, like the power that the mind has that you don't, I think your body also is able to recover better than you think.
yeah.
And dude, I was watching one of the BPN athletes. Her name's Lucy Davis. I saw something on her too. She wanted to quit at mile 80. She threw up 6 times on that lap, and she made it to like 106.
Wow.
She was like, I thought I was done for sure. My body was completely shutting down. I threw up 6 times in the middle of the thing. She made it across, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna be like done. But her mind was stronger than her body was, and she was
Wow.
able to do like, I mean, what is that? Another 5 laps or something? 6 laps? Yeah, which is gnarly. So, just watching it,
Yeah. No, that's
I was like,
yeah.
oh, and I'm dealing with this freaking stupid pulled hamstring that I have. I just wanted to just run so bad. I'm like, dude, these guys are absolutely insane. Just animals at the highest degree. to get yourself to do that,
Mhm.
like I can't even comprehend that. Like Marin was like talking about doing the race, like, oh, like let's just like see how far we could go. I'm just like, one, I've like would want to be so prepared. Two, there is no preparation, but like it's just something that like you can't comprehend it. And
No.
you're not going to get yourself to that level in training because
Well,
you're just
that's what that was my point with
Yeah.
people that when I kind of went on a little rabbit hole of how do you prepare for an ultra marathon versus how would you prepare
Yeah.
for a last man standing, and this is all like fairly ultra marathons aren't new.
yeah.
Last man standing is fairly new that
Yeah, as
that
far
I
as-
know of.
yeah.
But because of that, the like you're running a loop for how an undetermined amount of time. You look at how people train for an ultra marathon versus how people train for like a regular marathon, and all of the things I've ever seen about people that train for ultras, it's like they're literally running
Yeah.
a marathon every single day or every other day or whatever. It doesn't. So anyway,
Well,
but
one
to your
thing-
point of preparing for it, there is no.
Well, one thing that I've
Preparing.
seen Truett do, which I feel like is so gnarly and something that you have to do for sure, which that just trips me out in the training process, is he was doing like staying up in the night and running at night.
to
train.
Smart.
He was like, he
Real
had
smart.
like a goal to do 50 miles in the night. So he started his run at like midnight and didn't finish until like 7 a.m. type thing.
Okay.
Did like a 50 mile. He like came back to the house. Like he was like running through his neighborhood and stuff. And he like came back to the house at like 3 a.m. to like eat something and then just like took off again.
All right. That's a
And
heads
I'm
up
like,
play. I like that.
That was gnarly
Yep.
to think about. Like
That's smart.
doing like that type of thing through the, because that's the biggest thing. dude.
That's
and
the
also
training.
a
Yeah, for
trip,
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Think about going and running the river trail at like 2 a.m. I would be scared as hell, dude.
Dude, what if
It would like get in your head.
Yeah.
You would like think like you're gonna get eaten by a bear or something.
probably not on the river trail? But
No, I
maybe-
know, but even in something like that,
Yeah.
it would be a little like creepy,
Yeah.
you know. And if you let your anxiety like get
Mm-hmm.
you, especially well on the last man standing, that's a little different because it's loops. But like ultras, you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to have the freaking headlamp light on thing.
Well, and they most of them wear they have like a beacon,
yeah, but like.
so it's like people know where
Kinda-
you are, but that
kinda
doesn't
nuts.
necessarily mean anyone's with you.
Yeah, and like I've seen like a lot of those guys, it's those races are so insane and so like you go off the trail, like you get lost and you have to like make your way back. Like, oh shit, I just did 5 miles the wrong direction, like that type of thing.
Have you heard of the rim to rim at the Grand
Yeah,
Canyon?
That's another one. That's
That
like
one would
bucket
be
list type thing.
Yeah, Sarah actually was the one that told me about that,
Yeah,
and the minute she told me about it, my eyes lit up. She's like,
I don't think that one's that long, right?
I
You
don't
know
know.
the distance.
I feel like maybe it's 30 miles.
I think it's like something that people like walk and stuff too. Like
Yeah,
normal
there's a guy I
people,
feel like just did it here in Reading. I don't know.
like hike it. You know, I don't think it's
Yeah.
necessarily. I feel like actually, Sip might be able to correct me. I think Peyton's husband Roy's done that.
Oh.
I believe it was like you start at like 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and like he just walked it, like not just it's
Yeah.
not, but like and like finish at like 7 p.m. like
Right.
that night or something, you know,
Jeez.
which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's like an actual race.
I don't know.
Rim to rim might be a race, but I think maybe people just also do that. You know what I
Could
mean?
be. Definitely could
Like-
be. Yeah.
So, either way, yeah, dude, watching this was so freaking gnarly and inspiring. I was just like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
these dudes are absolute savages. And I've never like been like that serious about wanting to do an ultra. That for sure made me be like, okay, I have to push it past the marathon like distance now. Like
Which is just such a
50K would be
totally a different.
yeah. Ordered my first pair of trail shoes.
Hell yeah.
Had to get them.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna start incorporating some of that into it, just because I feel like it was so sick.
Yeah.
So there's that last man standing. Shout out to Kim and Kendall and everybody involved. The BPN was so on it too with the live stream and the videos that they put out there.
I told
Media
somebody
team
that
is insane.
I follow on Instagram. I don't know how I know him or whatever, but he's like a big BPN guy too. And we were DMing about it, and I was just saying BPN is literally taking over the sport.
Yeah.
You know, and they're doing it so well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like their marketing and their branding and their like even for this endurance pre-workout that
Yeah.
they're about to drop, which
Do you think it's just caffeinated G1M?
I don't know, probably.
That's my thought.
But even like the branding for that, it's
It's
like
so sick.
everything they're saying in the branding for what it's for, it's like tailor-made for what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like perfect for your gym session, perfect for interval sprints, perfect for your Saturday long run. I'm like,
Yeah.
take
Sick.
my money,
Yeah.
BPN.
Yeah.
Like, rat bastards.
Yeah, they're giving it to like all their athletes, and they're posting all about it.
It's
They
got
won't-
caffeinated
it's just like
G1M makes
it's just
sense.
like a black like tub right now. They're not like
Yeah, they're not showing what it is.
showing what it is or anything, but I feel like that's what it is.
Caffeinated G1M.
Yeah, because that's why they came out with the caffeinated gels after a little while, so you didn't have to have like a coffee before. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what they're doing. Freaking.
And but is that one just caffeine? What's isn't there
I don't
like
know.
a stimulant in it
Yeah,
or something?
I don't know what normal pre-workout is. I just know I used to take Jacked. Do you remember that stuff? Jacked when I was in high school and out of high school.
remember.
And you just get the itchiest ever. You take it on your way to the gym and you want to itch your face off.
Yeah.
And the second you start working out, the itch
Goes
goes
away.
away. It's like insane. I don't know what you like. Get a freaking dumbbell in your hand and the itch is gone.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started like working out again after we had River and I ballooned up to 260. I'll put a picture up for everybody. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how embarrassing it is.
260. Do something to do something.
Yeah, for real, dude. After River. Anyway, after River was born, started going to the gym again, and one of the guys I was working out with gave me like a pre-workout, like fat burning pill.
Yeah, he gave you some gas station dick pills. Some Rhino freaking 3000.
No, so he was like, "Yes, take these," and I was like, "Okay." So I took one, but I took it at night,
Oh God, Jeremy.
and I
You were just
literally
up for
was just
72 hours.
up all night long.
You're
And then
literally on crack.
the next
dude.
day I saw
The
him.
guy-
I was like,
that's-
"Bro, what the
he literally gave
freaking
you-
hell was this?"
He gave you meth.
He's like, "You're supposed to take it before you work out." I was like, "Oh, thanks for the heads up." What was that stuff
Jeremy.
called?
I don't know. I've never taken a pill. That's
I've
like
ordered it
so
before.
Bad for you.
No, it was like a fat burner. Like, what do they call those? Fat burner.
Yeah, I've taken some of that stuff in the past. Actually, not a pre-workout though.
It wasn't a pre-workout. It was like a fat burner, but it was like a.
Now you just take
I'll find it.
What's it called from? What's the company called that you take the supplements from?
Oh, Heart and Soil.
Heart and Soil.
Yeah.
Now you just take the suet. That's your
Yep.
fat burner.
The whole package, baby. I'm all about that.
No,
bull
what's the
testicles.
one? The fat burner one.
Oh, it's called Firestarter. I don't take that
Firestarter,
one anymore.
But you used to. That one was all time.
Yeah, back when I could afford it, I would take that one and whole package. But now we're down to whole package, and I take half a pill a day to stretch it.
Half a pill a day. You're supposed to take 6.
I'm just kidding. I actually ran out, and it's not here yet.
Yeah.
But I didn't take it this morning, and I can tell.
Really?
No,
You're extra limp,
I am extra limp. Yeah,
extra soggy.
I'm just walking around with a soggy waffle in my pants. One of those little Belgian waffles.
Oh. That's so funny. What else were we going to talk about? There was something else. We talked about the Murph, and we're going to see Mission Impossible tonight.
I'm excited. I think I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
All I've seen on the internet is about how it like people trying to run as Tom Cruise or sprint as Tom Cruise. Have you seen any of this
Yeah.
stuff? And then some brand did a like uncovering Mission Impossible. Like their marketing thing was run like Tom Cruise, like learn to sprint like Tom Cruise, and it was like intervals to get you to run as fast as him. I don't know, some stupid shit.
lame.
Yeah, gay.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's like
And
70.
Yeah, I'm not like a Mission Impossible fan, but dad's here. He's a action movie
Yeah, it'd be
lover,
good to
and I
go.
heard that this got good reviews, and I just like going to the movies, and
Yeah.
usually we'll see a movie when my dad's here. And so I was like, oh, let me see about Mission Impossible, and it's out, and I had a good time. for
My
us,
my
so
only
we'll go
concern
check
is
it
that
out. It'll be a
if
fun watch.
For sure. Then I don't think there's going to be some crazy storyline that you have to. That's like a
No.
thread through all the movies.
I don't think so. Although I do believe this is the last one.
Well, I feel like they said that about the last one.
Did they?
Yeah.
Had the last like 6?
Yeah.
How many have there been?
I want to say this is, I don't know, 10.
I think that we're close to
10?
10. Yeah.
Because wasn't there also like a spin-off Mission Impossible, like Mission Impossible, like Ghost Recon? Like he
Yeah.
wasn't in it, but I don't. Maybe I'm thinking of the Bourne series, because there was a couple Bourne movies with Jeremy Renner, not Matt Damon.
Yeah. Mission Impossible, I feel like,
Yeah,
is only Tom Cruise. There's only one Tommy boy. Yeah.
and he's dead.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Chris Farley.
Shout out.
Shout out. I can't. There was
Eating
one-
all those damn sandwiches in Billy Madison. Remember
Yeah,
when he's stealing the
the
lunches?
sandwiches aren't what killed him. They weren't ham sandwiches.
Are in the process of doing getting our giveaway
That's what
squared
it
away.
was. Yeah.
So we're gonna get some merch. We're gonna get some hats. We're speaking it into existence, and we're gonna give it away to those who follow, like, and subscribe.
Follow instructions.
We also need to up our Instagram game. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Neither
Cue
of us
the
ever
music.
wanted to be at all. I could care less about social media. The only reason I post is because I have kids and I like to post so people can see them that aren't close, like my mom and stuff like that, and my friends that aren't close by. And then I like to just be up on people's lives. Like, for instance, my buddy Trevor, who's now back on Instagram. He'd been off Instagram for so long, and we're at a point in life where we're not just checking in every day. So
Yeah.
like, he's not seeing my kids, I'm not seeing it. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind a little bit.
Totally.
So when you're on it, you can see it. So point is, that's kind of all we use it for. Now we got the pod going. We need to post more. We shouted out this cold brew company. They basically told us that we're a bunch of shrimp dicks and they'd like to give us stuff, but we have no following. So we need to up our game. We need to start posting more. So if you have some recommendations, I mean, obviously Sarah has a bit of a following, so she knows it's consistency. We have to just post more and more often and grow our followers naturally. Although I kind of don't give a shit about doing that, but it would be cool to get some free stuff here and there. I'm just going to become a BPN athlete, I'm going to have you film me running every day.
Honestly, I don't think it's the worst idea.
Then I'm
we've
going
ever
to
had.
get all of our pre-workouts, all of our G1M, all of our hats, and just deck us out. That's what we need. Fuck that coffee company.
Not this one. No, I think, well, on the topic of social media, while we're talking about it, what has your experience been with FOMO?
Oh, you think it has to? Yeah, I guess it has to do with social media.
I feel like 100%. That's the only reason it's a thing.
No.
Well,
You would just get FOMO if I heard you were going to do something fun and I wasn't invited.
well, maybe it's more prevalent now that you can know what everyone's doing every second of the day.
Yeah.
So, what types of things give you FOMO? I guess was the question.
Anything that I'm not involved in.
Right, but
Yeah.
somebody could be somebody's at a vegan restaurant eating a fake chicken sandwich.
Yeah, no.
That's not going to give you FOMO.
No,
Right?
No, and also I don't have FOMO on unless it's like you guys, like people that I know. And,
So that's okay.
Yeah.
That quantifies.
yeah,
it
I
even
don't
further.
get FOMO. Like, that's called being a hater. Seeing somebody that's famous on Instagram buy a new house and then you fucking hate on them. No, but seeing your bitch ass buy a new house, I'm gonna hate on you. No, but yeah, I get it for sure. Like, dude, pulling my hamstring gave me FOMO as hell.
Well,
seeing
yeah.
you guys working out together and stuff, or like you going on a run that I
Yeah.
can't go on, that sucks for sure. So
Mhm.
that, and for those of you who are boomers, FOMO is fear of missing out. Um, and you just kind of like, I don't know if it's like anxious or like what, but like feel bad about or like feel
Yeah.
jealous kind of like people doing fun stuff and you're
Mhm.
not in on it. I guess
Mhm.
you get it. Like you get kind of FOMO when like you're in Costa Mesa and like we're like
Mm.
hearing about you guys like doing like fun stuff. You're like, oh, damn, I wish I was there doing that too.
Yeah.
So kind of in that situation.
Yeah, no,
Is there
I-
something that came up recently that made you think of it or gave you it or something?
It's the main reason why I get off of Instagram in my like when I have these like spurts of time that I'm like I don't want to be on here anymore because I get it obviously with people that I know but I also get it just randomly like
I don't know that that's FOMO though that you're talking
maybe
about.
not.
It's more of like comparing.
Well,
yourself
that
to
okay. That
others.
was thank you.
Yeah.
That was the next thing I was going to say. So it's this idea of yeah, it's not necessarily oh I'm missing out on something because I don't really care.
Yeah.
But it's more of a yeah probably the comparison thing. But I don't. We need to go into the psychology of all of that. It was just I had thought of it about specifically Last Man Standing, but then again thinking just how we are. You can know what somebody's doing all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's crazy because you get like this weird sense of, well, how come they didn't tell me they were going to do that? You know, it's
Yeah.
like what, bitch? Like I don't need your permission.
Yeah, yeah,
You know. But I think when it's people that you care about, that you're like, I wanted to hang out with them. You know.
You're just a sensitive guy. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm just a chill guy.
Yeah, just a chill
Just
guy.
a chill guy.
That's Charlie. Charlie's just a chill guy.
I said yesterday that he didn't come from my loins, but sometimes I feel like he did because I love that kid. I love all of your kids. I love all of my nephews and nieces. But
yeah.
Charlie.
Oh, it's
he's
just
got
cool because he's the only boy right now.
When that's probably what it is. Like they're all special, like Paulina and Sunday and little Georgia, but something special about the little man.
How about them, Penny and Charlie, like switching seats and like that Penny's been wanting to come in my car and Charlie's going in your car, and then you send that picture of him. He just has the biggest smile. He just thinks it's so cool.
I know.
Penny gets in my car and just instantly asks for like music and the windows down, and Charlie's just there, just sitting
Well,
like
dude,
a little
we weren't in the
angel.
car for that long, and I legitimately forgot he was there.
Oh, dude, he doesn't.
I
He's
turned
literally.
around, like, oh shit!
He's like how I was as a kid, dude. I can remember that.
Just being
The
quiet.
most like chill well, first of all, I get like tired in the car, but like I can just sit there. We look back half the time and he's just like reading a book. He obviously doesn't know how to read. He's just looking at pages.
Yeah, he doesn't. You don't think he does.
Or he's just like playing with it. But dude, he is obsessed with animals, obviously.
Yeah.
And he like has them like battle and stuff, but 80% of the time, he's just lining up his animals. He's going around the house, getting as many as he can, and just putting them in a straight line on the table until Georgia knocks him over, and then he redoes it. Or he goes and then he puts them along the tub. Or he goes and like that's just what he wants to do. He just
So
sees them all
freaking
there
cute.
and just like he's just so excited to see them all lined up. And I would do stuff like that. Mom like tells stories about
Really?
how I would like just I could just be by myself. That's the biggest difference in having kids. Like Sunday has been attached at our hip since she was born. She's never once like gone in her room to just play by herself. Now that she's nearing 5, like we'll see her out in the backyard, like pretending to cook, and like she's definitely gotten more independent as she's like seriously just recently.
Yeah.
Charlie, dude can just chill by himself all day long. He does not care. When we lived in Costa Mesa, he'd just be in his room, sitting on the ground, no noise, not doing anything, like having a book in front of him, like does not care. Sunday literally would never do that.
Wow.
So that part is like cool to see the differences in them. But yeah, that's how Mom says that I was.
Dang. I would never have thought that.
Yeah.
Because
You
you're
just
so.
think I'm a rambunctious psycho.
Yeah, you're just rambunctious
kids
as hell. Yeah.
I do remember that though, and I can't wait to hear these stories like that. I had this little soy boy ass friend when we lived in North Carolina that, you're like friends because of parents. He grew up to be a total lib. And I used to like wrestle him.
Yeah.
And I can specifically remember a time where he was like, Hudson, stop. You're being too rough.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, bro, this is what being a boy is.
Dude, I'm going to tell this story and maybe edit it out because I don't think I've ever told you this story. There's this kid when I was living with my dad. My brother and I were still living with my dad at the time. And there was a kid that lived down, it was on a cul-de-sac. He lived down at the end of the cul-de-sac. And he was like he was like on the, like a fringe friend of the little group of kids that lived on our street. And he was, like really good at skateboarding. Taught me how to do a kick flip, taught me how to do a hard flip. Like he was like a really good skateboarder.
Yeah.
And
you guys were like little?
Yeah, I was probably, I don't know, 10.
Yeah.
But we didn't really ever hang out. Like I didn't ever go to his house. Like he didn't ever come to my house. We would just like hang out on the street with all the other little kids and, play like
Grab
hockey
ass.
and baseball and stuff. No. So one time, I don't remember why. Somehow we like ended up we were going to have a sleepover. I cannot believe I'm telling this story. We're going to have a sleepover. And he was like,
say a lot of things right now, but I'm going to let you tell the story.
well, you can. The time will come. So anyway, somehow he's like, oh, like let's have a sleepover, and my dad was like, oh, whatever, like cool, like
You guys need beer?
yeah, you want some Coke? So we're doing the thing, watching TV, watching whatever, like hanging out. My dad had.
This is your house or his house?
We're at my house.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God. And then somehow he's like, oh, dude, let's wrestle. And I was like, okay.
He took his clothes off?
No. So we're like wrestling and like doing the whole thing. And then he's like, all right, but now let's just pretend like we just lay on top of each other. I was like, what the fuck? Like, no, like that's weird.
Yeah.
But I like, yeah, okay. So anyway, this was the one and only time that I felt like my dad was in the right place at the right time. Like somehow this kid was like laying on top of me and like being weird. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
But it was like
laying like tummy to tummy?
Yes.
Or,
like wrestling. Like you would be like doing jujitsu, but you're not actually because this kid's just turned out to be gay.
In your guard?
Basically.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, this is weird. Like, and he was a little bit older than me. I think he was like 13.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, he was a little bit older.
Okay.
And he liked EDM music, rave music.
Nice.
Anyway, so this is happening. And then all of a sudden I look and I see my dad is standing outside. We have these double sliding doors. He's like standing out there. He opens the doors. This kid's name was Jason. He says, Jason, get up. It's time for you to go home.
Hell yeah.
And then my dad walks him home, comes back, doesn't say anything, goes to bed. I go to bed. That's it.
That's not nearly as bad as that could have been. So I think you can keep that story in.
No, I will, because it's good. But it's embarrassing, dude. Like basically, this kid was trying to like.
Well,
but he ended up being ended up being gay.
Okay, well, there
So-
you go. You didn't say that part to start off, but he didn't like try and kiss you, and he definitely didn't try and you.
No, but
So,
but it was one.
He was literally wanted to play tummy sticks.
No, but that's what he was. It was like hey, let's.
yeah,
You know, and I'm
figure it
like,
out.
No,
Not into it. Yeah,
and it was just I will always remember looking and seeing my dad standing in the back. It was dark outside, but I could see him standing there.
that's actually badass. Thank God he was there.
Because
Unless it got
like
worse.
this kid wasn't stronger than me. Like I was big
Yeah,
for my age, still am. But I just was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But also like this kid's cool. Like
and your brother was there with you guys.
he was there, but I don't know what
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
doing.
Yeah.
But there my dad. I just remember the door opening and my dad standing there. He didn't have his shirt on, and he opens the door, and I was just like,
And he walked him home.
he was
Nice.
like, and there's such a because my dad was a screamer, dude. Like he would
Yeah.
yell,
Yeah.
but he didn't. He was like, Jason,
It's time to go.
It's time for you to go home. I was like, first of all, I didn't know my dad could talk quiet,
Yeah.
but I just will never.
I thought you for
forget it.
sure you were going to say he like yelled and like ripped him off you type thing.
No, it was
Yeah.
very much like dude.
Yeah.
It was so
That's way
badass.
more intimidating
Yeah.
for sure.
And he walked him home, and that kid never came back to my house.
And neither did your dad.
Yeah. Then he left.
He
was
walked
like, "Well,
him
that's
home,
what-
and that was the last time you saw either of them.
He left for cigarettes and never came back.
You were
But-
sitting on the front porch. He said he was going to the grocery store 5 years ago.
Oh man. But yeah, that I don't know why we're talking about being little, being kids.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Damn, that's gnarly. Well, on that note, episode 26 in the books.
20 dicks in the books.
That's a hey, that's a fine story to keep in there. Luckily, you didn't get molested, but
It's shit, dude.
yeah. Well, dude, just weird shit happens like that with kids. You try and like figure out your like body
Yeah.
and you don't know what's happening. Now, he was 13, so that was a little too old.
Yeah, it wasn't
but
like
yeah.
we were both 10.
Yeah, you're trying to
Crazy. I don't even know if Sarah knows that story. Maybe she doesn't.
Well, now you do,
Now you do.
Sarah. But yeah, episode 26. Like, subscribe, follow, tune in next week. Got it. This is a nice weekend too. We got Paul's birthday, Justice and Jaron come into town tomorrow, Caleb
yeah.
and Jasmine. So we got a fun week planned. This episode will be out on Friday, the 30th, May 30th. And yeah, we'll just keep it rolling from there.
Sweet.
Thank you guys. We'll see you later.
Peace.